What do you do when things aren't working out? You change them up. Normally in Formula 1, that means switching drivers, team managers, or engineers. But for Mercedes, they have a bit of an issue. Toto Wolff is deeply embedded into the team and won't be going anywhere soon. So why will it be hard for Mercedes to get rid of Toto? And what does it mean for the team? Stay tuned to find out. First up, the man, the myth, the legend. Toto Wolff is a towering figure in Formula 1, not just for his physical size, but for his power too. He was born in Vienna, and after being introduced to motorsport as a teenager, he was hooked. Wolff even won the 24 Hours Nürburgring, the 2006 Dubai 24 Hour, and competed in a few GT championships. So he has experience behind the wheel, but he was never good enough to make it to the top. But his entry into Formula 1 came from his professional background instead. Wolff studied at the Vienna University of Economics and Business and founded his own investment company in 1998. They invested in a range of industrial companies, but Toto kept his toe in the motorsport world. The company made a few investments in motorsport technology companies, and Toto himself started a driver management company with Mika Häkkinen. Then he decided to jump in with both feet. In 2009, he became a shareholder of the Williams team, where he was part of the board of directors, and they had some success under his leadership, even scoring their last win to date in 2012. But after a few years into his Williams career, Toto was hatching bigger plans. Mercedes had returned to F1 in 2010 after purchasing Braun GP from Ross Brawn. They were on the up and up under the direction of Ross Brawn and Michael Schumacher. Toto could see the seeds for success and wanted in. It was perfect timing for Wolff, and he now had a few years of experience under his belt in helping to run an F1 team. That's why he decided to jump in headfirst with his own money. Next, we have success. To say that Wolff has had success with Mercedes would be an understatement. They have had one of the most successful periods in Formula 1 history. Since Toto joined in 2013, the German constructor has won 7 world championships and 8 constructors championships. They have also invested heavily in their junior program. In 2018, they had a trifecta of Formula titles. Mercedes won the Formula 1 title with Lewis Hamilton, the Formula 2 title with George Russell, plus the European Formula 3 title with Mick Schumacher. It's safe to say that they have left a mark on motorsport. In their heyday, they had a staggering win percentage of over 70%. All of the results came from some genius innovations that Mercedes pioneered. When the new regulations came into force for the hybrid era, Mercedes hit the ground running. Their engine was the heart of their power, and it powered them to completely dominate the first year of the new rules in 2014. By 2017, their engine was touted as the most efficient racing engine in the world, which was able to achieve 50% thermal efficiency. For those who aren't engine nerds, that can be almost double the efficiency of road cars, meaning that it converts a higher amount of fuel to energy. This Mercedes engine was so strong that they came up with some sneaky strategies. Paddy Lowe, who was the executive director for the team at the time, said that they would actually hold back on the car's performance. That's right, they had such a powerful engine that they didn't want to win by too much. How difficult would it be to remove Toto Wolff from his position? And what went wrong with this year's engine design for Mercedes? Don't go anywhere, because all of that is coming right up. Now, on to loss of power. If you were a betting man, Mercedes would have been a pretty safe bet to be fighting for the championship this year. After being so dominant for so long, most commentators assumed that Silver Arrows would come up with something special for the new regulations. Mercedes had aced the new power unit design in 2014, and this year looked to be pretty much the same. They are still 1,000 horsepower, 1.6-liter turbo hybrid engines, and the Mercedes engine has been the benchmark for this speculation. It was only really last year that Red Bull caught up with them, and even then, after Lewis Hamilton got a spanking new internal combustion engine for the Brazilian Grand Prix, he motored through from back of the grid to front of the grid. This year, it seems like there may be some engine problems, and some of that may be related to the new E10 fuel. This year's fuel is a step towards sustainability for the sport, but it also might be an issue for Mercedes. The fuel is 10% ethanol, and Mercedes had said that it demanded a fundamental relook at their power unit. The switch also resulted in an estimated loss of 20 horsepower. For Ferrari, it was reported that they managed to eliminate this deficit by early last year, but Mercedes is still struggling. Data from the first few races have shown that at times, Hamilton and Russell are reaching speeds 10 kilometers slower on the straights. In F1 land, that is massive. In fact, that is the exact advantage gained by using the DRS during a race. If Mercedes can't get on top of their engine problems, they are in for a long road ahead. The end of the year will see an engine freeze that prohibits any performance-related changes until 2026. Now, for a pile of problems. During the winter break, there were no indications that Mercedes would have serious problems this year, even in the build-up to preseason testing. In Bahrain, they unveiled a radical new design that took everyone by surprise by virtually eliminating the side pods. Rival teams were so unsettled by that there were talks of a possible protest. Had Mercedes done it again? Well, those fears were before the data came back for the W13E, and the results were not good. Chief among the problems was the porpoising of the car, which is when the car bobs up and down when the air pressure underneath changes. It's a sudden lack of downforce, and the worst impact is that it limits the top speed. Each race this season has been a mini disaster for Mercedes. At the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, both cars failed to qualify for Q3. For 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, that was the first time since 2012. Toto Wolff has apologized to Hamilton over the radio at the end of another catastrophic result. He said that the car was undrivable and that it wasn't fit for a champion like Hamilton. In other words, Mercedes have gotten it very wrong this year. Firstly, the engine unit seems to be suffering from a major lack of power, and secondly, the aerodynamic design has so far still failed to reduce the dreaded porpoising. There are a heap of problems on Toto Wolff's desk to fix and no clear path ahead. He might start thinking about his stake in the company. So, how much of the Mercedes team does he actually control? Finally, the ownership problem. Toto Wolff bought 30% of the Mercedes-Benz Formula One team, with 10% owned by legendary 3-time world Niki Lauda and 60% by Mercedes. That means that Toto Wolff has a big say over the direction of the team. He's not just a team principal or a manager like some of the other team bosses, he also has an active financial interest in the performance of the team. It's this risk that has helped Wolff make some of the biggest sponsorship deals in Formula One history. The partnership with Malaysian oil company Petronas was worth a whopping $75 million a year. As of 2022, Toto Wolff has a 33% ownership stake along with Daimler AG and Ineos, who have 33% each. Ineos bought into the team in 2020 for an undisclosed amount, though there were reports that the figure could have been almost $900 million. Ineos also came with a partnership worth over $100 million for the team. In any other circumstance, he might have his job on the line. Mercedes have dropped down to a midfield team and are currently fighting for points with teams like Haas and Toro Rosso. If it goes on any longer, then there could be major implications. Sponsorship money might start drying up. Lewis Hamilton might be thinking of leaving, and Mercedes could rethink their involvement in the sport. But now, Toto is a totally equal partner. That means that it could be difficult to get rid of him. If they don't, sometimes it pays to be the boss. Do you think Toto Wolff deserves to stay at Mercedes? And could this be the end of the Mercedes team as we know it? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.